Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel here at Latina Plants. My name is Jackie. Today we're going to do a video that I've never done before, but I really wanted to do, and it's a top favorite plants of the month of March. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I do want to say happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, and let's go ahead and get into these favorite plants that I've been enjoying for the month of March. So the very first plant that made it into my favorites is my Hoya gracilis. I'm not sure what else she's called, but the tag says Hoya Memoria gracilis. Look at how beautiful she is, you guys. And her bloom is almost on its way out. I do want to show you a picture of her bloom, so I will insert it here so you guys can see it. So this plant is native to Eastern Asia and Australia. She is super easy care. I picked her up from Canopy Plant Co. online. I've had her for about 2 years now, and she's just now finally blooming for me. Her blooms are beautiful, you guys, and sweet. That's why she's made it into my favorites. I mean, you'll see the picture. She has beautiful blooms, and she's given me 2 peduncles, and I can't wait until her next flower blooms. I pretty much water her when her soil is dry, as I do with the rest of my Hoyas. And I think that when I started trellising her like this was when she started to give me those peduncles. Her blooms are so beautiful and sweet smelling. She's definitely one of my favorites for the month of March. And I think she's pretty easy care. I have her in my airy aeroid mix that I use for most of my plants. And she seems to like the soil. It seems to dry out fast enough for her. And yeah, she's growing so big, so fast. And she's giving me beautiful blooms. And that's why she's in my favorites for the month of March. My next plant that's in my March monthly favorites, this one's number 2. I'm going to do a total of 5 if I didn't say that already. This is the baby Jade. She's beautiful. This pot is pretty full. I think I want to separate her and propagate her some more. But yeah, this plant is from XOXO Latina and Eastern Cape provinces of South Africa and Mozambique. So I'm going to put that on the screen for you guys because I can't really pronounce those names. But yeah, I got her as a gift from my mother-in-law. I've had her for 5+ years, maybe even 6+ years. I've propagated her a lot. She does love a lot of sunlight, and she gets this beautiful like burgundy tones on her leaves, or reddish tones when she gets a lot of highlight. She can burn, so you have to try not to give her too much direct lighting. She is due for a repot because I can tell that she's thrown out some like aerial roots, which means she's probably pretty compacted in this soil. I have her potted in a succulent mix, and I only water her every, I don't know, month or so. She's pretty easy. I pretty much feel the leaves, and if they feel plump, I don't water her. If they feel a little flaccid or wrinkly, then I give her a nice drink, a nice soaking, and I let her sit and soak up all the water that she can, because I think this soil is pretty compacted already. So the reason that this plant is in my monthly favorites is because she's very easy care. She's beautiful, rewarding, and I really like to propagate her and make babies out of her and share them with other people. And so if you want an easy care plant that you don't have to fuss about watering too much, I would definitely get a baby Jade. And yeah, you can make bonsais out of these, which is what I'm going to try to do is create a bonsai tree. She's already doing some branching, but I want her stems to get a little bit more woody and branch out more. So I am going to separate her and create a bonsai out of one of them. Possibly the one that's already branching. So yeah, that is my baby Jade for the month of March. Number 3, favorites. Actually, number 2 favorites. So for my number 3 favorites for the month of March is my ficus Benjamina Bonsai. Look at her, you guys. She is beautiful. She's a little heavy because she's been watered recently. I love her. She sits on my table here in my plant room, and she's about maybe 4 or 5 feet away from the window, and she seems to be doing well with that type of lighting. I got her from a plant subscription box when I first started collecting plants, and that was called the Plant Club. I recommend that box, you guys, mainly because a lot of my plants that I first started with were very healthy plants and I didn't have any problems with them. They also had great customer service. If I did have any problems with any of the plants, they would send me out a new plant, or they had a guarantee on how long your plant should be living for, like how well it would do. So I think it was like 30 days or something like that. Don't quote me. If your plant died within those 30 days, they would replace it or refund you or something like that. But yeah, you would have to provide pictures and stuff like that. But as long as you didn't repot the plant within that time, then you could be refunded or they would send you out another healthier plant. But yeah, this was one of the ones that I actually killed the first time because I potted her in soil and she just didn't like it. She rotted away very fast. I was also a newbie in plant care, so I didn't know a whole lot about this plant, and I was kind of learning about her. I did do a lot of research, and some people do pot these in soil, but I decided that for me and the fact that I'm kind of an overwaterer, it was better to put her in Bonsai Jack soil, so that's what I did. I also wanted to say that this plant subscription provided you with soil for it and like top dressing. This pot came with the plant and the plant. It was a little bit pricey in my opinion, but the fact that you got everything to take care of the plant and care instructions and things like that made it worth it for me, especially in the beginning. And I didn't have any pest issues with any of the plants either, so I did want to say that. The only thing that I had issues with this plant was, I had to change the substrate from the substrate that they sent it to me in, and I purchased bonsai soil, Bonsai Jack soil, and she's been doing great in that ever since. I've had her for about, gosh, she's so heavy. I've had her for about, I want to say like 5 years I've had her, and she's done great. I've cut her back, I think once or twice, where I've cut all the stems back and left just the trunk. And that was mainly because she got attacked by spider mites. And I just felt that the best way to eradicate the spider mites was to chop her back completely. I did it 2 times, and both times she flourished back and gave me new stems, new leaves. I do trim her up every now and then just to keep a lower profile shape of her and like bushy appearance. And I think she needs another trim soon. She bounced back both times from spider mites. She's been an easy care plant for me. And yeah, I really do love her. She's beautiful, a beautiful statement piece. And that's why she's in my March monthly favorites. Oh, I also wanted to add that I water her every time I feel like her leaves feel like limp or really thin, or her trunk looks wrinkly. I remember one time I let her dry out for so long that her trunk was actually wrinkly, and I gave her watering, and I want to say the next day, about a day after I watered her, her trunk was plump again and not wrinkly. You don't want to wait that long, of course, because you don't want the roots to die off, but she bounced back just fine. My next plant in my monthly favorites is my black velvet Alasia, you guys. Look at how big she's gotten. She has 5 leaves currently. I do see like a little bump on her stem, so she'll probably be pushing out a new leaf soon. And her leaves are going all over the place because she's like turning for the light. But look at those beautiful velvety leaves, you guys. And I love the purple backs on them. And just the striking veining on that plant. She's just so beautiful. This is another plant that is native to Southeast Asia. I picked her up at Lowe's, I believe. It was either Lowe's or Home Depot. It was a small 4-inch pot, and she has upgraded to a 5.5-inch pot already. I have her in an aroid mix. Most of my plants are in a chunky aroid mix, which is Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil mixed with the Better Grow Orchid Bark mix that has charcoal and perlite, as well as some added chunky perlite and regular perlite. I water her pretty much once a week in this pot, maybe less than that, because I wait until 3/4 of her soil is dry before I water her. And if I pull her out of this catch pot, you guys, because she's in a nursery pot, you'll see that her roots are starting to come out of the bottom. There are 2 things that you can do when your alocasias are doing that. You can either keep a reservoir in the bottom of the catch pot. As long as she's not sitting in the actual water, her roots will go into the water and she'll soak up some of the moisture that way. Or you can up pot her. I feel like if you up pot her, she might have too much soil. Alocasias seem to root down fast. So if you want to just get a taller pot, that would be best, is to get a taller pot. This little marking here was a little burn from the grow lights because she was like right up against the grow lights. But yeah, she seems to be easy care for me. She is in my monthly favorites because when I up potted her, she gave me so many corms, and all her babies have grown and they look just as beautiful as her. Not as big yet, but they are just as beautiful. Velvety leaves. And yeah, I really like to propagate from her corms, and she's been, again, super easy care for me, you guys, and knock on wood that she continues to be easy for me. I do recommend that you keep her leaves clean because she has a velvety leaf, and so it collects a lot of dust. Alocasias supposedly are prone to spider mites, so you want to keep the leaves clean. Yeah, in the soil I did put systemics only because I had thrips. Not on this plant, but I had thrips on some other plants that came in, I believe, from some plants that I didn't repot from the big box stores. And yeah, I wanted to treat all of my collection before the thrips got out of hand. And I did spray a lot of my plants with the systemic or insecticidal soap to kill anything that might be on the leaves. And yeah, everything's doing great so far. And fingers crossed that I got ahead of the thrips and the flat mites as well. I do use the scope and I check out my plants, so nothing on these plants so far. And my last plant in my favorites for the month of March is my variegated African violet, you guys. Look at how beautiful she is. I've shown her probably a lot on my channel because I really do love her. I have not repotted her from her store soil yet, but I've had her for about 1.5 years and she's been okay in the soil. I do want to pluck off her blooms and change her out of her soil, kind of start her over again. And I've already taken a lot of propagations, leaf propagations from her, and I've grown her. So now I feel confident in repotting her because if my mother plant dies, I have some babies growing already. So I have insurance, you guys. I do want to say that African violets take a really long time to propagate. I am learning and, you know, tweaking my propagations and stuff like that as I go. I will repot her into the Espoma African violet soil with 50% perlite so that the soil is nice and airy and doesn't hold on to too much moisture. I will spray her with some insecticidal soap as well and put some systemic granules in her soil when I repot her. But she's in my favorites because look at how beautiful she is, you guys. I actually scored her from Lowe's a year and a half ago, you guys. She would be much bigger if I didn't propagate her like crazy, but I did because she's just so beautiful. I want to share her with a lot of people. And I know that these African violets from Lowe's and Home Depot don't come with any ID, but I really don't care about that. She's beautiful, and who wouldn't want her? So yeah, I'm propagating her and sharing her and selling some of the babies as soon as they're big enough to sell. I did want to add that I fertilize her like every other month. I use about a third of the recommended dose in the water, and I bottom water her. I do not top water her unless I'm putting systemic granules in the top of the soil. I do not top water her. She's very prone to wilting and the leaves dying off if you get any water on the leaves. And you want to try and make sure that you don't get any crown rotting. So don't let her sit too long in water when she's bottom watering. Yeah, I would say about 15-20 minutes bottom watering and you should be safe with that. She has bloomed nonstop since I've gotten her, which is why I'm kind of afraid to pluck off the flower blooms and repot her, but I have a friend here, Mona, who tried something new to get her African violets to flower, and she shared that with me. Yeah, so I'm going to try that. I'm not going to share it with you guys yet until it's done. Yeah, but I will share that with you guys in the future. I've also seen some videos of some recommendations on fertilizing and things that you can put in the soil to make them bloom. So yeah, pretty in pink, you guys. Super beautiful plant, especially for Easter. What do you think? I love her. So those were my top 5 favorite plants for the month of March. This was a hard pick, you guys, but I did it. These plants are truly in my top favorites. I wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful Easter holiday if you celebrate Easter. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this top 5 monthly favorites. I think I'll do one for next month as well. Let me know if you guys like these videos. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. Make sure to click that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And I'll check you guys out on my next video. Bye!